Hello everyone, this is Romario with a new Legacy video. It's been a while since I recorded a Legacy League. So we're in the post BNR world. Legacy has been taken up a little bit. Saw Entomb and Nadu getting banned. We also, from the time I'm recording this, it's been just a couple of days since we had the Legacy Showcase challenge. This is the list that I played in the showcase. And if you look at this list and it looks familiar, it's because I got it from another player. I was looking for a Doomsday list to play in the showcase, and it just happened that this list won a challenge a couple of days before the showcase. And I also won a Doomsday list that was running Barrowgoyfs in the 75. So this list won a challenge, had the Barrowgoyfs in the sideboard. So I was like, this sounds it. Sounds good. I'm just gonna run that. My other option was a list that was playing was running 4 Tamias. But I was really not concerned, but I was hoping to have a good matchup against the temple decks that run lightning bolt, right? But all right, well, before I get started, I would like to, if you like Legacy, if you like pre-modern, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave your comments below. I love reading the comments you guys leave on the videos. And I'm really trying to get that little push to get to 1,000 subscribers now. So if you like the channel and you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, it'll be really nice if you can do it and share with your friends. But yeah, so with that being said, this was I really wanted to play Doomsday in the Showcase Challenge. I ended up not doing so hot. I started well, but later the wheels fell off, and I think it was just it wasn't so much the deck was much. I think it was just me not playing very tight as the day went on. I think maybe getting a little tired and losing focus. Also better opponents as the day progresses. But like I said, I won a Doomsday list that had somewhat a good matchup against Forest Steelcutter, Solid decks, or Delver decks. And as someone that has been playing a lot of that deck in paper and on Magic Online, pre-ban, I knew the Barrowgoyf was a very good card against that deck. So I was like, I really want a Doomsday list that has Barrowgoyf. So I saw this list, and it's got all the Turbo Doomsday pieces in the main deck. So we got the usual artifacts that we see, the 3 Lotus Petals and 1 Light Diamond. We got the Consider and the 4 Cyclers. And we also, of course, have the 4 Personal Tutors, because this deck is trying to put Doomsday on the stack as fast as you can. So this helps you find Doomsday quick, and with the extra cyclers, that also increases the times that you can Dark Ritual on turn 1 or cast Doomsday on turn 1. I'll say it. Cast Doomsday on turn 1 and cycle into a win quicker than some of the other lists. You also have the usual cantrips we see in this deck: 4 Brainstorms, 4 Ponders. We've got the 4 Thoughtseize in the main deck. Of course, we have the Dark Rituals. Cast Doomsday. And then we have the permission of 4 Daze and 4 Force of Will. This list is also running 2 copies of Thassa's Oracle, which I would say is somewhat stock these days. Casting Thassa's Oracle just to dig for cards is not great, but it is a play you can make, and it's a blocker. Also, there are some situations that Thassa's Oracle might get, I don't know, consigned to memory in game 1, or I'm trying to think here, Endurance, I guess. So having a second copy is not terrible. And the old Legacy saying, right? It's blue. You can pitch to Force of Will. And then there's a copy of a Cabal Ritual, which it is an interesting decision to just have 1 copy of Cabal Ritual. I've played some lists in the past that ran Cabal Rituals to the way I understood it was it was a good way for you to play around Chalice of the Void and still get to triple black mana. So a Cabal Ritual, a swamp plus any other land, you can cast Cabal Ritual and get to triple black. And also getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but the lists that I ran in the past with Cabal Rituals, sometimes you'll go up to 3 copies of Cabal Ritual, or you just play 2. I don't think I've ever played 1 copy. I could be wrong, but I think usually it was 2 or 3. And sometimes you would end up with extra black mana. And some of the cards that we used to run in Doomsday before were things like Ideas Unbound or Deep Analysis, which were cards that you cannot take advantage of the extra black mana. But then we had cards like Night's Whisper that you could Cabal Ritual cast your Doomsday and then Night's Whisper. Or you can even like make piles that like no. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know why Magic Online did this. You could Cabal Ritual with Threshold. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that earlier. I'm speaking like Cabal Ritual has Threshold turned on. So you could Cabal Ritual, no Doomsday, a Cycler. Street Wraith is kind of painful, but it doesn't matter if you're winning the game, right? A Cycler into Night's Whisper, and then Night's Whisper would draw, 2 more cards in your pile, and you should be able to just like find a win there. So just 1 copy of Cabal Ritual is interesting. Maybe just like some of this player was like just wanted to try. And like I said, we have the 4 copies of the Cyclers, 2 Edges, and 2 Street Wraith. If you're playing a turbo list, that's kind of like where you want to be at. It just increases the percentage of times you can Doomsday on turn 1 and combo in the same turn. Usually you're required to have a either a Brainstorm or a card that cycles for free to draw into your pile. And just looking at the lands real quick, because it is also kind of like stockish. We have the 1 Cavern of Souls, so you can name Thassa's Oracle, or if you're playing as blue-red, you can also name Barrowgoyf. And then you have the fetches, I think this is just like the usual, is it 9 fetches? Yeah, the usual, I'm sorry, I don't know how to count. So 6, 7, 8 fetches. It's usually I've seen 8 or 9. And we have the 2 basic lands. The basic swamp is the one that's kind of interesting, but again, it is a card that kind of, if you're playing against a Blood Moon type of deck or a Chalice of the Void type of deck, then like I explained before, you can Cabal Ritual off a swamp. Also, if you are playing against Temple decks, it's not a bad thing for you to just fetch your basics in the beginning of the game, and the island allows you to keep cantripping even if they have wastelands. And also in that same note, if you are playing against a deck that doesn't disrupt your mana, the basic swamp is usually the card that you want to sideboard out. It doesn't really do anything after you cast Doomsday, and it doesn't really cast anything except for your discard spells, right? So if you're playing against a deck that is not trying to Blood Moon or Wasteland you, I think that's one of the cards that you can side out as one of the easiest cards for you to take out to bring whatever you want to bring in. And then of course we have 1 copy of Undercity Sewers. That's just free surveil that pretty much every deck in Legacy has access to now. And the 4 copies of Underground Sea, because we are playing a blue-black deck that's basically I don't want to say mono black, but it requires a lot of black mana. And then looking at the sideboard, we have the 1 copy of Flusterstorm. Again, we're playing Doomsday, so it's not hard to just put this 1-offs in your pile. Also, Flusterstorm is just a really good counter magic to protect Doomsday. So 1 copy of Flusterstorm, 1 copy of Hydroblast. So in the showcase, I brought this card in a lot, or set it in a lot, because I did play against blue-red decks quite a few times in the event. Every time I drew, it was fantastic, which kind of made me even think about maybe I should play more copies than just 1 on the sideboard. And I expect to be that way going forward for at least for now. I think we're going to see a lot of Core Steel Gutter decks, and it's also really good against any of the Moon effects, Blood Moon effect decks, any of the Prison decks. And we have 3 copies of Force of Negation. Force of Negation, again, fantastic card for this deck, especially on the draw when you're playing against things like Mystic Forge or Stompy decks, not Prison decks, I guess. Really good at stopping Chalices on turn 1, or God forbid your opponent casts a Karn of the Great Create on turn 1. And also pretty good against other combo decks, right? There are some, we've been seeing an increase of people trying to play, run Show and Tell nowadays. So pretty good in those matchups too. Jace the Wielder Mysteries, pretty good against anything that's trying to make Thassa's Oracle not work. Naming things like Consigned to Memory or Dress Down. I guess in a way also Endurance. So just a way for you to kind of sidestep that kind of effect. Spectral Restitching. That's one of the cards that I saw in that list that I wasn't really sure how it would work out in this deck. At first, I can see that you can remove things like Orchestrable Masters from your opponent's board. You can remove Chalice of the Void or Magus of the Moon. And it's cool because again, it's a very it's kind of like a low casting cost, just 1 blue and X, and so it seems very interesting. Then we have 2 copies of Duress. Just no actually discard spells against decks that have a lot of counter magic, I guess. Night's Whisper, I kind of went over that a little earlier. The only other thing I was gonna say, Doomsday sometimes has a hard time drawing to the pile and also holding up interaction. So like casting Doomsday into Thassa's Oracle, a lot of times you don't have enough cards in your hand for a force and blue card, or you know, just hold up a Daze and when you cast Thassa's Oracle, or if you want to like, you know, draw a Duress and Thassa's Oracle and cast, you know, both of them the next turn or the same turn, maybe sometimes. I mean, we're playing Cabal Ritual. Usually for you to do that, you have to have effects in your deck that draw more than 1 card. So things like, you know, Ideas Unbound used to be a thing that we used to do. Like, you know, you could play Ideas Unbound, and if you crack an LED, you would have Thassa's Oracle, Daze, and Flusterstorm or something, and you could, you know, the triple blue from the LED would let you cast any of those things if your opponent had some kind of interaction, right? Just, you know, just to give you an example. But really, the gist is that Night's Whisper 1 lets you use the extra black mana from Cabal Ritual if you have Threshold. Against decks that you want to go faster, Night's Whisper also helps with that. If you want to cast Doomsday, draw into the pile, and still have hold up some kind of interaction with your opponent's hand, you can do that because you're drawing extra cards with a Night's Whisper. You're not playing a thing like Consider that literally just digs a little deeper, right? So it is one of those effects that I like it. In the past, we've also seen things like 3 Wishes, or I think it was Chandra's. I'm gonna forget the name of the card. They have the same effect, but it's like, no, you remove the top 3 cards of your deck and you can cast them. But basically anything that lets you draw more than 1 card in the same turn you're trying to combo. Then the Barrowgoyfs, I kind of went over them. It's, in my opinion, they're really for blue-red style decks right now. It's a very good card. Usually the way they have to deal with this is by either Force of Will this card or cast a Unholy Heat, right? That's when I said that, I think Hydroblast is very good. Just being able to respond, counter an Unholy Heat with 1 mana, pretty good. I mean, you can expect them to have Fire Blast too, but it is what it is. But excellent card if it sticks against blue-red. And maybe perhaps against like decks like Mono Red Stompy or Prison and Eldrazi, maybe. I have to think about that one, but it is a consideration for that. A third one, Barrowgoyf against the 2 decks I just mentioned, seems pretty good. And then last, we have a Tormod's Crypt. So Tormod's Crypt has a few. It's a flexible card, actually. It's not just like exile a graveyard. One, it can help. It can counter, quote unquote, a endurance that's targeting you. You can just exile your graveyard in response. Also, like I said, we were playing a Doomsday deck, so putting those 1 of like in the pile. If you have a cycler, it comes up like quite often, actually. So let's say if you're playing against like Dredge, for instance, you can cast Doomsday, cycle into Tormod's Crypt. Let's say if you don't have the extra mana, right? Because if you have the extra mana, then you can just cycle into a Brainstorm and hopefully win the game. But if you don't, you can always like cycle into a Tormod's Crypt, cast the Tormod's Crypt and pass the turn. We've been seeing some like Upsal spells doing well too in the format, but I mean, not in the format, I mean like in the current in the few last challenges. It is another card that helps obviously against Oops, but it's yeah. I mean, we'll have to see how many. I guess what I'm trying to say is like we got to see how the graveyard based decks do going forward, right? Like no Upsal spells. It is a graveyard based deck, but it's not really. It's not like Reanimator or like really Reanimator, right? It's a much faster deck, so Tormod's Crypt is not. It's not fast enough for a deck that can kill you on turn 1. But so yeah, with that, so this is the Doomsday list I'm gonna try in this league. Like I said, if the list looks familiar, it is because it's from a recent challenge. I haven't really played that much Doomsday lately. Like I said, I tried to. I got 1 5-0 posted with a list that had 4 Tamias in a sideboard. Had a lot of fun playing that list, but I thought that it wasn't great against the blue-red Delver decks. And I really wanted to play Barrowgoyf in my 75. But yeah, let's see how this goes, and let's get started. Let's see if we can find an opponent for round one. All right, so here for round one. I think that's I can keep this hand. Personal Tutor can just be Force of Will Fodder. Okay, so they're playing what seems to be breakfast. On a dark ritual. Huh. Let's go for it here. The Cavern of Souls. Don't forget to put Thassa's Oracle in the pile. I could something like this. Actually, yeah, draw the last 3. Like ponder. There's a chance to just have like force plus illusionist, and can't really stop that, but it's the best I can do. Okay. They're a little behind. Cool. Take 1. Second. Maybe I didn't have to put the Street Wraith. I'm just thinking about it. All right. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. But wizard. All right. So that was quick turn 1. So they're not a wasteland deck, so I think I can cut the swamp, and I can probably shave the Cabal Ritual. I think I want a more Duresses. I don't want the Flusterstorm too. Maybe I can just shave the Historical. Yeah. I was thinking like maybe Knight's Whisper could be good there too, because well, it is a turn 1. And if it doesn't work out, I'm actually kind of tempted to just like use the petal to cast Personal Tutor, and I could edge into Doomsday. Okay, so I can still just win from here, right? So I think I'm gonna play the paddle first. Play LED too, I guess. Plus Arm's not gonna nice. Dark Ritual. Guess Doomsday. So they don't have anything, right? So I can just put Consider. That's Oracle. I only have one land to sack, so I can't really put two edges in a pile. But it doesn't matter, right? I'm gonna end up with one card at the end. It doesn't matter. I mean, I could make a perfect pile, but it's not necessary here, right? Because their hand is, yeah, they don't have anything. All right, so crack no, sack land, crack LED, draw Consider. Actually, it is a perfect pile. Yeah, Consider just spins Cavern of Souls, draw Street Wraith. That's a torque. Yes. Sorry. Actually, it is a perfect pile. I, for some reason, thought I was going to have one card left over. All right, so I'm just going to put Thassa's Orc at the bottom. Street Wraith, Cavern, Consider. Stack this. Full priority. Make some blue mana. That's Consider. Put it in the graveyard. Cycle. Oh, that's my favorite type of pile. Nothing on the board, nothing in my hand. Just the Thassa's Oracle. All right, cool. So that was round one. We'll see if I can continue this fourth winning streak. All right, so round two. I mean, this is really tempting. I'm gonna keep it. Cavern of Souls and the island possibly are mulligans, but wasn't Thoughtseize me. Okay. Actually, when I'm thinking about it, I think I'm playing the mirror. If I'm not mistaken, I think this person actually usually plays Doomsday too. I'm gonna need wizards to print a sorcerer speed dark ritual type of card. One of the matches I played recently, I used Personal Tutor to find Edge of Autumn. So that's one thing you can do. You can also use Personal Tutor to find Ponder. not great, but something you can do. But a lot of times I just want to like Personal Tutor for a dark ritual. All right, I'm just gonna. You can also like Personal Tutor for a discard spell. It might be relevant here, but the thing is, if they cast a discard spell and I don't have a Doomsday, then I'm in bad shape. So yeah. Also, just this kind of confirms that I am playing the mirror. It's just possible that they don't have a Doomsday yet. All ritual. Okay. I'm gonna do this because if they force, because if I draw a dark ritual or Lotus Petal, I can win on my turn. I mean, I might have gotten a little greedy there, but it's all right. Oh, it's a personal tutor. Um. Hmm. My greediness killed me. Let's see. 1, 2. Okay, so they definitely had a Force of Wills in hand. So, right, 1, 2. Only 2 of them here. Let's see what they do. I don't know if that's gonna save me, but that's one thing I can do is like try to force their first spell. Hopefully they don't have a way to. Maybe they don't have a blue card, but I think they have. I think they have double force of will in hand, and 2 other mystery cards. But let's see if this works. Again, they should have 2 force of wills in there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, force pitch force. All right. All right. So we need to find a faster hand than my opponents. So I like Flusterstorm, Duress, and maybe this. I probably should give one of the therapies. I mean, not therapy. One of the Thassa's Oracle. Maybe 2 personal tutors. I'm not sure. Not really. I really don't like that card. Maybe we can one like. Since I want to play, I think I just want to like try to discard their hand instead of try to counter stuff. So if I do win game 2, then in game 3, I think I want to bring Force of Negations. I think a nice Whisper is a little better when you have Cabal Ritual in the deck. League's about to end today. Oh, I think that's fine. Well, this hand is interesting. Ugh. I mean, I think I've got to keep though. If I find a land on top, then I kind of guarantee that I'm gonna find a. Like, I keep Ponder. I can force pitch Brainstorm. No, I think I'm just gonna. Really want to find a second land. Yeah, I gotta force this. Ugh. I'm gonna put Cavern of Souls. Thassa's Oracle. Yeah, can do all that. The drop, Brainstorm, those 3 cards. Put back Thoughtseize, Thassa's Oracle. So I keep, is that correct? Brainstorm 1, 2, 3. No, I don't get to see Thassa's Oracle with that. 1, 2, 3. Put back. I mean, I can play. The problem is like I'm also running into like consigned to memory, but I don't think I can be picky here with what I'm gonna do. Also, no, maybe I can just do this. So draw Street Wraith. Street Wraith draws Brainstorm 1, 2, 3. No, I'm not gonna have enough cards. Like Street Wraith draws Brainstorm, then I draw Cavern Battle. Thassa's Oracle. And I gotta put 2 cards back. That means I can't. I can Cavern Battle Thassa's Oracle. Let me see what I can play around because I'm trying to play around counter magic because I think that's the best I can do. I also don't want to give them 2 turns. I can't play around consigned to memory. I think that would like I need to. I mean, I guess I can just play a discard spell and yeah, maybe just do that. Oops, I need second brainstorm. That's not what I meant to do. Just Thoughtseize, draw. I'm gonna go to 9. That's 6 damage. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Let's play something like this. I'm gonna take a look at my exile pile. Yeah, they got to Duress me. Brainstorm. Yeah, at this point I'm just playing around. I don't think they have removal, but removal and counter magic. They do have consigned to memory, then can't play around all that anymore. Yeah, I deal with like Thoughtseize. I thought maybe what's gonna happen is like they're gonna ponder on the turn that I passed, and then they'll give me a window to the Thoughtseize, and then try to um, combo the next turn. But they dressed me before I could Thoughtseize them. So. But it looks like they were looking for um, kind of magic or a way to combo them. All right, so we just have to tap for blue. And then wizard. All right, so we're tides now. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna bring the Force of Negations now. I don't want to cut. No. Yeah, Night Whispers can probably go. I mean, there's an argument to make to cut two of these things. Because I only need one to be able to. I mean, yeah, usually I just need one or two to combo. Like I said, I really don't like Personal Tutor, but I think it's kind of necessary for me to have blue cards to pitch to all the Force of Wills that I brought. All right, so I think I'm just gonna run it back like this. And like Daze still kind of relevant in this deck, right? Because Doomsday is a very compact combo. Like really is like Doomsday plus Thassa's Oracle, but it's not what you call. It does cost some mana, right? So Daze is still a life card. All right. I think with all this card that I have, I think I should just start turning them off like this. Okay. So they don't have. If I take Dark Ritual, they can't cast it. Yeah. And I think I am going to Daze that. Right. If they want to make me pay, I'll pay for it. Then okay. All right. So with that draw, I think I'm gonna Duress them because they have a Doomsday in their hand. I think Doomsday. Right. Excuse me. That's a desperation consider. All right. And I think I'm gonna fetch now because I chance I might just wanna brainstorm to Doomsday. Or do I? No, I think I'm just gonna toss them. Oh, okay. So let's take Force of Will. Pass. Daze. Okay. Now the problem now is that I can't Dark Ritual Doomsday Brainstorm because I don't have enough cards. What I can do, I can put something silly on top of my deck like a Flusterstorm. All right, so Thassa's Oracle, draw card. Maybe I should have my Night's Whisper. No, I just realized that. Um, that works. So next turn I draw cameras. Well, draw anything, right? Draw consider. Well, just say I draw cameras, so let's make it easier. So cast brainstorm. 1, 2, 3. Well, so draw cameras. I'm sorry. Draw 1, 2, 3. Put back. Oh, I don't have anything. I kind of just want to put back. So yeah, and we don't need to have Night's Whisper in my deck, I guess. Just something that could draw extra cards, right? And I think the best option was Night's Whisper. I mean, they're not playing removal, right? So I don't think I need to do all that. Let me instead of consider, I'm just gonna put a Flusterstorm. Where's my Flusterstorm? Flusterstorm. Maybe the Edge then. Okay, so Brainstorm into Edge or Street Wraith Flusterstorm. Go. Let's see. So Brainstorm right now. Draw Cavern Edge Street Wraith. Put back Cavern Street Wraith. And put back Edge Cavern. So I have Flustered Street Wraith in my hand. Draw Edge. Then I draw 2 cards next turn and should draw the rest of the pile. Is that correct? So Brainstorm. Draw this. Draw this 3 in the middle. Put back. But it doesn't work then, because then I just keep Flusterstorm in my hand. Draw Street Wraith. Edge. That's his Oracle, but then I lose to counter magic. Huh. The more I think about it, I really should have Night's Whisper in the deck. I mean, but with Flusterstorm, I feel like pretty safe that I'm not gonna get comboed. Okay, I'm gonna keep like this, and let's see what they do. I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put Cavern at the bottom, and then Thassa's Oracle, and then this 3 like this. And I'm just gonna Brainstorm now. Okay, then I can actually. I think that's fine. I do have 5 cards in hand though. So if they tap out, I could draw into Thassa's Oracle and just hopefully plus the storm is enough. But I didn't tap out, so like again here I could lose to a consign to memory. But I think next turn I don't. They play Night's Whisper. I think it's just an easy plus form, right? In this situation. It's not like I'm guaranteed to draw into my pile. It's possible I played overly careful, but I feel like it was one of those games that it was for me to lose, not. Almost type Wraith. Okay. All right. 2-0. Let's see if we can get a 3-0. So far so good, but I do think maybe I should have had a Night's Whisper in the deck, and maybe I missed that. Would have been a lot easier for me to make a pile. I did not have to pass a turn. All right, so you guys for round. All right, so we're back here for round 3. I'm on the play. Yeah, the hand's pretty good. Got a Dark Ritual. And I think I need to fetch a basic here. Oh, okay. All right, I'm just gonna take Thoughtseize, and I have a Daze. I think if I draw a Dark Ritual, you not a Dark Ritual. Huh. Oh, can't really try to combo when they have Daze. Hmm. They have 2 blue cards, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and pass, and then hopefully they don't draw Wasteland. Not a Wasteland. Okay. Um, and I think I'm gonna look for either. Well, Cabal Ritual doesn't do it. It doesn't help because I don't have Threshold, and I'm not close to Cabal Ritual Threshold, anyways. This might be a Bowmasters here, which is annoying, but it doesn't. I'm just gonna draw a card. Okay. Undercity Sewers. Tutor does not help. All right, so for me to have Threshold, I'll have to Thoughtseize them. Psycho Street Wraith. So it doesn't seem like what I want to do. Personal Tutor. It's a terrible card. Yeah, I think the plan here is just Cabal Ritual and Doomsday. They don't have Force of Will. If they do, yeah, just Personal Tutor, I guess. Use Black Mana for good luck. Oh. Donates Daze and a Forceful. I need to find another land here, a Dark Ritual. That's neither. That's kind of bad. Oh, this is way less than ideal. All right, so next turn I pretty much have to cast Personal Tutor. I do have the other Street Wraith, so I could try to spike land. Okay, they didn't want to cast Barrowgoyf. If they cast Barrowgoyf, I think I actually have 2 days too, just because the way things are. All right. All right, we'll take Barrowgoyf from them. The next card is a Street Wraith on top of my deck. Yeah. I don't even think the graveyard that matters right now. They could flip Damon next turn. I didn't cast a cantrip this turn, did they? No. Huh. Maybe it's back at Doomsday here. All right, I'm in trouble. Needed a fetch land there. I think it made sense to guess a Brainstorm because of Orcish Bowmasters. So they were tapped out, and being that I'm at 10 life. I think I need to concede here. Yeah. Maybe I played a little too careful there because maybe I just cast the Thoughtseize. So I think I just like this. I'm not a big fan of Cabal Therapy here. Personal Tutors. Not one of my favorite cards in Magic. And I don't think there's a matchup for Barrowgoyf. Ring Jace, Wielder Mysteries, but no. We got 2 Thassa's Oracle. Mulligan to 5. You're looking for a card specifically? Maybe if I win this game, then maybe on game 3 I bring the Barrowgoyfs because they're not gonna see. They're not gonna see them in this game, so it would be kind of interesting to do that. Maybe. I don't want all these cards. Well, I don't have triple black yet for Doomsday. I guess Thoughtseize here. You do this. I didn't Daze back. Right. I get Thoughtseize done. You gonna Daze me? No. All right. So, oof. I have to take Barrowgoyf. No, I don't have to take Barrowgoyf. I can just take Under. Okay. I wonder if I should have just guessed Duress first because it's the more narrow card. Yeah, Brainstorm. Okay. Yeah, see, like if I bring Barrowgoyf, like my Barrowgoyf is just gonna lose to their Barrowgoyf, or it's not gonna work out. All right, so I'm gonna take Force of Negation, and I'm gonna put Personal Tutor on this deck. The Doomsday. They have double consigned to memory. Not the worst, but it's not easy for me to beat 2 consigns neither. I do have 2 lands in play already, and I have the Cavern of Souls, so that means I don't have to whatchamacallit? I don't have to put that in the pile, so Dark Ritual. Flusterstorm. Okay, so I'm gonna put it to Doomsday's on top, and alright. Flusterstorm is very good too. Not specifically in this situation, but Wasteland's terrible for me. Alright. I mean, Wizard. I need to buy a turn. Is the only way I can, because I'm gonna draw a Doomsday next turn again. I could consign to stifle the storm ability. Kind of like using Go Pierce to pay for Daze. Okay, it's the Daze. Please cast a Barrowgoyf. No. Land. Alright. That definitely offers some protection to get Doomsday to resolve. They have 4 cards in hand. I know 2 of them. This is a Barrowgoyf. Alright, so I'm just gonna force that then. Again, I know their hand, so it's not. Do the thing. Alright, so Thassa's Oracle. Thassa's Oracle, I guess. It kind of sucks that I have. Now, I guess if I get from this one, then they don't know I'm getting Duress. What put two Duresses in there? Draw Duress, Brainstorm, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. It's something like this. Barrowgoyf would be a 4, 5. So I'm not. Okay. Yeah, take one. Oop. Funny enough, I have another Doomsday too. So that line almost never comes up because you don't have enough life total, really. But it is something that maybe you can do. If something happens to one of the oracles, you can what you call put back you can put Doomsday back in the deck and then I'm sorry, cast Doomsday and then do the whole thing again. Yeah, that's a very good top deck. But unfortunately, I think I made a very good pile here. All right. So what do I want to do? I don't want to change anything. Yeah, I just don't see Barrowgoyf being good against the blue black deck because they have their own Barrowgoyfs, and what am I gonna do? Counter their Barrowgoyfs? I don't think that can win this the war of attrition. I was thinking maybe I can put a Jace in there just to try to beat Consigned to Memory. Spectral Restriction is another one because I can I can use it to blink Ball Masters, and I don't think that's. Oh no, I think the card also works on my creatures, right? Oh, okay. So I guess that can also beat Consigned to Memory. I can just blink my thing and then. Well, it doesn't like beat it, but like no, it makes that I can do it again. If they take Ponder here, no, I'm kind of talking to myself when I'm recording, but hear me out. I could play Islands, Personal Tutor, LED, Battle. Oh, never mind. They just made a choice for me. But one thing I could have done was like cycle and then try to draw Doomsday. I guess I just play the LED. There's no reason not to. It would kind of suck if they like tried Thassa's Oracle and Surgical. Not a very good spot here. Oh, Ponder things makes things a little better. Personal Tutor. Okay. This has got to be just to get extra information, right? Because it doesn't really do a whole lot, I think. I guess it would be one reason to bring Barrowgoyfs, like to play around things like this, but I don't really a winning line. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna do this. And turn the edge and Thassa's Oracle into something else. Maybe the LED should have been a card that I should have put it back in the deck. Well, good for me. I have a basic swamp in the deck. Just let's do this. Interesting. Hmm. I guess makes sense. Cameo. Guess I have to shuffle them. Get a swamp. Hmm. We only have one card in hand. We need to draw Doomsday, basically. And draw a card. Now they can pay for Daze. Oh, that's don't need that. I'm drawing too many cards now, and I didn't draw Doomsday. So if they do draw another one, then Dazes are alive for me. They know about Daze, right? Yeah, they've seen the Daze. They don't know about the second one. I have to do this. Not ideal, but they could consign to memory this. I'll draw a card. If they consign out, then I'll Daze. I think it makes sense now. Are they gonna push it? Sure, I'll do. Yeah. No. Um. Need them to force. Unfortunately, I couldn't just pay for. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't just pay for it with the LEDs, so then I lose my hand. Yeah, Orchestral Masters. Okay. What is I can? I should just probably leave this behind to block. Alright, so I have no cards in hand. So if I draw Doomsday, which I don't think I've drawn one this game, right? No. Then I should have enough devotion with the other Thassa's Oracle in play. Not sure. It would be really nice if I could draw Doomsday. You know, it was probably correct for me to just guess a Dark Ritual. I just realized that. There's a small chance that they counter something. Oh, they picked up the Force of Will. Yeah, this game might be over now. I think my window was like the 2 turns after Jace got countered. Jace would have been interesting too until Orcish Bowmasters came to play because he mills a card, right? And I mills 2 cards and draw a card, yeah. So I wouldn't have drawn the extra lands. If it'll this guy. I'm gonna take 2. Yeah. We'll have to do this. Unfortunately. Yeah. Didn't draw Doomsday. All right. Yeah, I still don't think that Orcish Bowmaster was going to be very good here. They had removal left in the deck too, and they also have their own not Orcish Bowmaster. I'm sorry, Barrowgoyf. So I think it was just correct the way I sideboarded. But I didn't think about this card until now. Actually, that I can, and it's X targets, so you can do against both sides of the board. So you can both exile Orcish Bowmasters on their side, and I don't know if there's a situation that excuse me, they'll like to set on the same turn exile my Thassa's Oracle. And I mean, I guess if Thassa's Oracle is already in play, because it returns at the end of the next end step. Okay, so if I do at the end of their end step, exile, let's say their Orcish Bowmasters and my Thassa's Oracle, untap, and then Doomsday something. pass, then Thassa's Oracle comes back and then triggers again or something. Okay, yeah, interesting. I actually didn't realize that that's how this card worked. I thought it was more like a strictly for my opponent's stuff, like to remove Chalice of the Void and stuff like that. All right, so that was round 3. We'll see you guys for round 4. All right, so round 4 on the play, and this is turn 1 if they don't have Force of Will or I don't know, Mind Break Trap. Um, I'm able to draw the whole deck. I don't need Street Wraith, right? Um, let me see. Just in case there's something, but I think I can't make black mana either. Well, I only have. Okay, I just realized I only have one edge. I'll just be able to cast one Edge of Autumn. Something like this, I guess. Maybe we can put it on the ground. No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it literally doesn't matter. Okay, so Street Wraith gets LED, Edge, Consign, mill this, draw Street Wraith, You know, yeah, this. I was trying to figure out if there was a way for me to hold up counter magic, but I don't think there is, right? Okay, so Street Wraith draws LED, Edge, gets Street Wraith, right? Edge and Street Wraith gets LED Street Wraith, draw this thing. No, sorry. The second Street Wraith is going to cycle in response crack LED, cast this, mill Underground Sea. Yeah. Made this way more complicated than it needed to be. All right, so this one draws this one draws this. And is that correct? Did I put Underground Sea under this? Yeah. All right. All right. So didn't really get to see what they're doing, so I don't know what sideboard. Maybe that's when I'm supposed to bring this thing because like a catch-all, I guess. I'll bring Jace. I'm really trying to get Jace, cast Jace in this league too. All right, let's think about the sideboarding. Realize this league went fairly quick so far. We have to keep this one. I think I want something like this. I can Thoughtseize first and see if the coast is clear. If it's not, then you can almost like double Doomsday in 2 turns. I shouldn't have stick. I'm playing blue. Right? How this works. The Force of Will. And consigned to memory. Alright, so I'm just gonna take the. Well, I guess I could have taken the consign, right? Yeah. That would have been smarter. Oh, they have the other thing too, the endurance. So alright. I'm gonna put Jace in there. And put Cavern. Put another land that can cast Jace. And Street Wraith. Using both thoughts there. Yes. Something like this. You gotta watch out for it. Yeah, I should definitely take the consign because it kind of forces them to have to cast. And they have Source of Plowshares too. No, I didn't have enough time to play a fetch land, right? They do have a Savannah hand. They play an island. Okay, so they're not casting Endurance. It's good because that gives you another turn. Quantum Riddler. The guy died. It's went on there again. All right, so they have this silly things. I almost feel like Endurance is the card to take here because it kills me. Maybe Consign to Memory because Jace will have enough. Will give me enough devotion. This turn is I didn't mess up with the Street Wraith. It's the problem with Street Wraith. The life loss is so relevant. Maybe it should just be an Edge of Autumn. The next card on top of my deck is a Cavern of Souls, right? That's not ideal. Yay. Okay. All right. That's actually good. I think. I didn't cast Endurance again. All right. So if they don't have a blue card, I'm sorry. If they don't have a Edge would just be so much better here than what I'm doing. Okay. And then I got it. On the way to fumble my way here. Didn't seem like the kind of deck that's running Wastelands. To bring the Tormod script to Tormod script myself. That's a good way to beat Endurance. All right, so they have a grip full of cards. I play this. No. Don't stop. I believe on and Brainstorm is basically the same thing here, right? I'm just trying to go deeper in the pile. Yeah, because I can't cast both of them at the same turn. I mean, I guess I could. Is that better? Maybe it is. Maybe it is better. Maybe just play Cavern, I guess. Having a Dark Ritual on turn 1 Doomsday like makes me wonder if like, oh, if it was just like a turn 1 what you call Barrowgoyf would have gotten there. Like, you gonna surgical me? They surgical, then it kind of changed my plan a little bit because then I can't expect to be able to cast both Thassa's oracles in the same turn. Oh, it's the Carpet of Flowers. One Tomb Riddler. They get 2 extra mana. Get a Ponderina. Yes, Caracas. Because they are playing like things like Damien. I guess Philia is also a legendary creature, I think. Not really sure. Oh, thought it was like a Yorion deck and I just missed the whole time. But then I saw how many cards they have there, so never mind. That is a sweet art for a card. Oh, and it's deep in the tank. I'm gonna ponder. So they never tapping out that Tundra, of course. Okay, dice. Can't brainstorm because then I die. Alright, so let's cast this guy. cast a consign to memory. All right, let's try to cast the second one. The thing is that endurance doesn't beat this now because I'll have 4 devotion. Oh, cool. All right. So that was round 4. See if we can finish with a cool 4-1. And yeah. Didn't know what to expect in the last round after not seeing anything in game 1. But it turns out my opponent's deck was very well prepared to beat my deck, just that I guess I didn't have anything in game 1. But game 2 definitely saw endurances and consigned to memories and removal spells. So it makes it for a real hard way to it makes it real hard for you to make a pile because you have to play around all those 3 elements, right? Like there's a graveyard, removal, and consigned to memory. So also on top of that, there's counter magic, right? So either way, let's see what happens in round 5. All right, 5th and final round of the league. I'll be on the play, and this hand is everything I want from Doomsday. Well, not everything. It's not a turn 1, but it is a pretty good hand though. I'm not sure what they're doing, so you do something like this. Yeah. Hmm. I play the mirror again. That would be kind of funny. I don't think I want to give them the extra information. Or not extra, the free information. Sorry, misspoke here. Oh, it's not what I thought it was at all. All right, so I think and made that I guess is the only thing that does anything here. Flooded Delta. The wizard. Okay. They see what's going on. I think I want Flusterstorm. Can't do the thing here. Maybe Duress is. Don't know if I want to bring Jace. Maybe the Cabal Rituals like not here neither. I mean, Tormod's Crypt seems. Yeah, I think I have to bring Tormod's Crypt too. All right, I think maybe we should just save Daze or two and Personal Tutor. Oh, okay. No. I think one way I lose this game is if I don't cast Doomsday soon enough. But turn one is like kind of like out of the question, right? Because you have to fight through Daze and Force of Will. But any turns after that seems all right. No. They saw my Undercity Sewers and they were like, all right, I got one too. I guess a plus side of casting Thoughtseize isn't turn one. I can try to beat like a Ball Masters, I guess. Would have double on their deck. They're really trying to put a Fed in the graveyard, huh? Alright. Seems alright. Okay, so they have these things. Kind of looking like more like the old school blue black Reanimator from like the Jingy Taxis era. Here. Oh, I gotta do this. I mean, underground's not. So careful, steady. Please don't put I don't know, anything in the graveyard. Abhorrent Oculus. Okay. And the island. We have Bitter Triumph. Something else. I don't think I can win in the same turn. Oof, and that track. All right, so he's dealing 7 damage next turn. Oops. Um, and Street Wraith into this edge into consider against Thassa's Oracle. Cast Oracle. I'm just gonna put something else in there. Let's put Underground Sea, I guess. Well, I guess is there a reason to put a blue card for Force? No. All right, so Street Wraith, Tormod's Crypt, yeah. All right, so Thassa's Oracle. This, 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 this. Oh, this. Gosh, this deals 7 damage to me. I just realized that. All right, should have done the math correctly. The game was. It was not very smart of me. I make the mistakes, so you don't have to. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this one. some reason I thought I had an extra life total there. Point of life. I'm sorry, not life total. A little more life, and I would have been able to cycle into Tormod's Crypt, pass, and then on my turn try to combo. I wasn't gonna be able to play around anything, but I also wasn't gonna just die. I should probably fetch and grab the Undercity Sewers. Consider is good, I think. Is it? I think it is. Okay. Turn off auto yield. I need a brainstorm for that. So draw brainstorm, cast brainstorm. 1, 2, 3. Put back Doomsday. Consider. Cycle. LED. Yeah. I think this works. Should work. So Thassa's work on the bottom. And I think, well, it does matter a little bit. I'm going to put it like this. Oh, damn. I can't play a land. I just got to remember that because the land I'm going to play this turn is Cavern of Souls. I put Doomsday. Consider. Yeah, Wizard. Make sure I use this mana. Oh, that was a sweet 4-1. I think the league was. It's kind of like on par of being like the last day of the league. I think. I mean, I played against. What was it round 1? It was a long time ago. I don't remember. I remember this was Doomsday. Of course, the replay option is still not working. So it was Doomsday, then blue black tempo. And then it was like the Riddler deck and a tempo. I mean, not tempo, reanimator deck. Let me see. I think I can look it up here real quick. I don't know. I just feel like it's not. You get paired against. I'm sorry. It was a breakfast round. It was another Thassa's Oracle deck. So just some final thoughts, I guess, on the list. Like I mentioned in the intro, this was a list that I saw from one of the recent challenge results. Was I think sometimes Magic Online they put the decks that you just edit the bottom here. Yeah, it's this one. All right, so that's the list that we played in the league. Again, so before the showcase, I was trying to find a list that ran 4 copies of Barrowgoyf somewhere in the 75. I expected for Steel Cutter decks like not to be popular. Previously, I played a list that had 4 Tamias. It was like a list that Max Carini was, I think, won a challenge or split the finals, something like that. I thought, I mean, as much as Tamia is a very good card, I didn't think was great against the blue-red, like, no, Delver style decks. And I, as someone that was playing a lot of Core Steel Cutter, like, I realized that card was very good against that deck. So, and, you know, Doomsday does have a hard time against tempo decks that are playing red. Lightning Bolt is a hell of a card. Things like Power Blast can also be a pain. But just like the overall aggressiveness of blue-red decks, right? So like it's really hard for you to play a Doomsday and then pass a turn, for instance. And then if they're playing Consigned to Memory and, you know, things like that, it gets even worse in Wastelands. So I was like, I really wanted to play a Doomsday list that had Barrowgoyfs in the 75. And so this list did well. Like in the challenge, I think it was like maybe like a couple of days before the showcase challenge. So I was like, all right, let me just try this one. Playing the league, that felt pretty good. I mean, and we still have all the Doomsday pieces, right? So it's not like no reinventing the wheel here. The one card that sometimes I think that it's gonna sound like like one of those players that like that 1% of the 1% is the basic swamp and the basic island. I actually think that in the current like legacy, I think that having one of each basic makes sense. And again, if you are playing against a deck that's not playing Wastelands, I think that's one of the first cards you can cut is the basic swamp. It doesn't really do anything post Doomsday. You can't really cast Thassa's Oracle off of it. You can obviously cast discard spells, but it's not great, right? After it's done its job of casting Doomsday, you don't really want to have the swamp in play. I mean, I guess you can always sack to Edge of Bottom. There you go. Found a function for swamp post Doomsday. So, but I think that's the only card I'm like, yeah, maybe you can cut it or play something else, but maybe another Cabal Ritual. But I think I haven't Blood Moon or Magus of the Moon is like it's an effect that sometimes I'll play like leagues for like a week and I get paired against one of those decks. Like every league, sometimes I play 2-3 weeks and never see one. So that the Swamp and the Cabal Ritual is like cards like I really like against those decks because Cabal Ritual helps you get triple black even under Chalice of the Void. And the Swamp obviously is good against the Moon effects, right? So having those two in your deck can beat Blood Moon and Chalice of the Void, right? Because you can just cast off a Swamp in another land that's going to be a mountain and supposedly against in that situation. And you still get to 3 black mana to cast Doomsday. But and then the 2 Thassa's Oracle in the main deck, I think they're kind of became stock at this point. Or like, but it's another card that like it makes sense a lot of times, especially if you're playing. I don't know how relevant Consigned to Memory is that people are going to play in the main deck. I don't think so, but just having a second Thassa's Oracle, it comes up like once in a while. And again, it's a blue card that you can pitch to Force of Will and Force of Negation. Moving over to the sideboard, also by the way, this list is kind of a turbo list because we are playing 4 cyclers, right? I think if we're going to slow down and play extra discards in the main deck, or I don't know, if you want to play like another creature that you think is cool, like Thunder Trap, is that the name of the card? The Otter. I keep forgetting the name of that card. Thunder Trap Trainer. If you want to play like 2 copies, then I guess you could shave 1 Street Wraith and 1 Edge of Autumn. Just the sideboarding gets a little different when you do that. But it is a card that can find Doomsday for you too. So it might be a better. I don't know if it's better than Personal Tutor because it does cost 2 mana, but it's a blocker, and I don't think you're ever going to be able to cast. I mean, obviously, yes, you can cast with the Offspring cost, like with Dark Rituals, and but it's just another. No, just throwing away if you throwing out there. I'm sorry, not throwing away. Throwing out there, like if you like Doomsday and you want to try different things, that's another option. If you want to go a little slower, you can shave one of each and add a couple of Thunder Trap Trainers or Tamias or Orcish Bowmasters. I think this would be my flex slots here. And then, like I said, so like moving to the sideboard. So we got the 3 other copies of Force Negation. That's I like this card against other combo decks and anything that's playing like Chalice of the Void or some of the Mystic Forge decks, especially on the draw. No, there are cards that they play that you must counter on turn 1. And then there's a Jace of Wielder and Mysteries. That's a card that it's just really good against Consigned to Memory, or God forbid you play against Torpor Orb or Dress Downs or any of those effects that can make Thassa's Oracle not do anything. I guess I think I brought it against my opponent in round 4, right, with the Riddler deck, but it can help against things like Endurance. It does have a higher gives you more devotion too. I guess if you happen to cast this before you cast Thassa's Oracle. I don't think that's the case a lot of times because it does cost a lot of mana for this deck to cast post Doomsday. But it's just again a way to get around like those type of effects. There's one Hydroblast. And the Showcase, I brought this card a lot of times because I played a lot against Blue-Red Delver. And it was good every time I drew it. So, I don't know. Makes me wonder if I should play 2. There's a copy of Flusterstorm. Again, we're playing Doomsday, so you can always just put 1 copy in your Doomsday pile. So, having this one of cards, like, it makes sense in this deck, right? And then we have the Spectral Restitching, which I believe in paper, it's got a different name. So I'm just going to, yes, in paper it's called Hide on the Ceiling. So if you're looking for this card and you want to play with it, I think that's what you need to look for. Yeah, Spectral Restitching is just a magical line name because, Wizard of the Coast and Marvel things, I guess. Card is interesting. I wonder if there's this player that built this deck, they were just like testing something and that's just one copy. Maybe the card was amazing and next time we see it, there'll be like multiple copies. But it's a 1 blue and you exile X target artifacts and or creatures. Return exile cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of next end step. So as you could hear me talking through one of the rounds here, you can target your stuff and your opponent's stuff. So it is a way, I guess, to deal with consigned to memory because you can always just blink your own Thassa's Oracle, but you can also blink their Chalice of the Voids as long as you don't cast just for, well, you wouldn't be able to do it. You have to do at least for 2, right? So you can blink their opponent's Chalice of the Void for 1. You can blink moon effects if they're creatures, of course, Mags of the Moon or the Harbinger of the Seas. But I think the thing that's interesting to me is the fact that you can do your creatures and their creatures and your artifacts and their artifacts. You're probably not going to do your artifacts, but it's kind of cool that you can make Thassa's Oracle retrigger. I'm sure there's a pile here that you can put Thassa's Oracle, Doomsday, and they can try to consign to memory. You draw into Spectral Restitching and blink both of your Thassa's Oracles, and now they have to have more answers to it. But interesting card. I'm actually kind of excited to try to play this deck again and see how this works out. And then 2 copies of Duress, just like an extra discard spells. And then Nice Whisper. Nice Whisper, again, is another card I think I mentioned during the league. I was more into playing this card in Doomsday when I was playing lists that played multiple copies of Cabal Ritual, which we playing I don't think I ever played the full set, but 2 or 3 Cabal Rituals. It was not too crazy if you're trying to play like a super fast version of Doomsday. And you would always end up with extra black mana when you cast a Cabal Ritual with Threshold, right? So Night's Whisper was one of the best ways you can dump the extra mana. The other cards that we ran at that time were like things like Ideas Unbound and Deep Analysis. None of those cards can really use the extra black mana. So Night's Whisper made sense. In this version, you're only playing one Cabal Ritual, and there's only one Night's Whisper in the sideboard. I'm not really sure if it's that great. But Night's Whisper is a card that's cool against decks and not pressuring your life total. One of the things with Doomsday, it's hard for you to be able to make a pile that draws into Thassa's Oracle and can hold up counter magic. The only way you can do that is if you're casting cards like Ideas Unbound or Night's Whisper. So that is one cool thing. Like, so if you're not playing against Eldrazi or Blue-Red Delver, or probably would not do the same against decks they're running Bowmasters too, because it's just the life loss might be too much, right? Because you would lose 4 life just on this, right? With one Bowmasters. But anything like Forge, I guess. Well, actually, I'm sorry. I'll take that back. Eldrazi probably is fine for you to have this too, because you're trying to beat them before they can do anything, right? So, so basically against not Bowmasters or maybe blue decks, they're playing Lightning Bolts. But anything else, this seems all right. Then the Barrowgoyfs, like I mentioned, they're very good against Blue-Red Delver. I think that's probably pretty much the only matchup I'll bring this in. Maybe against Eldrazi, but I don't think that's if you bring this against Eldrazi, you kind of have to really understand what's your role in that game, and by that I mean like your Force of Wills have to be. You have to decide exactly what you're gonna do and stick to that plan. And of course, the Thoughtseize is if you keep them in. Also, you have to think, what are you gonna counter? I mean, I'm sorry, what are you gonna discard? What are you gonna counter to make that Barrowgoyf can be relevant? Otherwise, if you bring Barrowgoyfs in and you're still trying to Doomsday, and again, I'm not gonna like explain the whole thing, but just it's important if you bring Barrowgoyfs against a deck like Eldrazi, you have a clear plan. Like, no, these are the things I need to Thoughtseize, these are the things I need to counter, and stick to that plan. And then there's one copy of Tormod's Crypt. I mean, graveyard decks, we're expecting them to be a little less popular. We saw Oops Soul Spells do well over the weekend. But this deck has enough kind of magic and Duress. And again, this deck is also a fast combo deck, right? So you don't have to counter and sit there like and wait for your opponent to try to combo again. You can counter the thing, and then hopefully you can either disrupt your hand or just combo yourself. Well, so with that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed watching the league. Doomsday is a deck that I've been playing for a long time. Really have fun playing this deck, and lately I haven't really cast a lot of Doomsdays just because the meta felt like a little hostile to Doomsday, but I think it's a good time to play Doomsday again. And I think there's multiple ways you can build this deck. You can go Esper, you can go Bug, you can go Fast if you want to go Tempo. Just build Doomsday whatever way you like it. And with that, again, thanks for watching. If you like Legacy, if you like Pre-Modern, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave your comments below. I love reading the comments on the videos that I post. And with that, we'll catch you guys next time.